Hello there friends, Happy New Year everyone! I hope no one is feeling under the weather like me, but enjoyed the holidays. The food from the tables finally ran out, there are no more drinks in the fridge, so it's time to listen a little about the most interesting news from the world of our favorite game. New rosters, HLTV tops, reshuffles and much more. Without further ado, let's start the first video of 2024. As always, we begin with the official reshuffles. Right before the new year, Dupri found a new team. As you remember, Heroic only took him until the end of 2023, and that's it, so he was free basically. I would, of course, really like for him to stay, but Heroic's management has other plans. Thus, Dupri moved to M0NESY, just in the place of the departed Niko. It looks like the guys decided to follow the innovative no-op system by Cloud9 and will play without the sniper. Dupri himself says that he moved here primarily for the sake of the home major. In fact, they now have the top 2 team in Denmark, so it's quite logical. Yes, and as I already said, they play really well, destroying the tier 2 scene at ease, so it all remains only to reach the truly top level. So maybe Dupri really was the last piece of the puzzle. But that's not all, another Danish team was formed. Well, honestly, it's been here since 2022, but it was floating in the tier 3 even, and nobody knew much about them. And now Hunden runs this team called Sashi. Only in 2024 they managed to assemble a somewhat good roster. They took Borup, who was thrown out of Astralis, picked up Fessor from M0NESY and spiced it all with the Danish Niko. On the eve of the major in Copenhagen, the Danish scene is thriving again. If you're a Dane, let me know what you think about this situation in the comments below. Is it a temporary thing or will they stay for long? I'm eager to know. Well, now let's move on to the main source of all the most interesting reshuffles on our scene. We have already discussed Bleed in the previous episode, and kudos to the guy in the comments who explained it all to me. I mean, about the organization and how they work and where the finances are taken from. So basically it's a Singaporean org that decided to join CS and hired Kassad to do it. He had already brought Hampus and Faven to the team, which meant there were still 3 vacant positions, and here's who he took. Longs from Falcons, Cirque, one of the rare good EG players, and Cypher, the guy who made a name for himself at the last major. Well, and honestly friends, this roster turned out to be very good. They have an experienced captain in Hampus, an excellent shooter in Cypher, and once very strong sniper in Cirque. And everything is managed by Kassad, who has lined up working teams more than once before. In general, I expect them to be in the top 30 or maybe even higher. By the way, the team could have turned out a little stronger, as Kassad himself says. He invited Dupri, JKS and Maxter from NIP Academy. However, for various reasons it was not possible to sign them, some because of their salary, some because of their contracts, and some themselves refused, like JKS. Well, and now the last thing about reshuffles. Apex signed Sense as their new captain. He came to replace Kixon, who, as you know, now plays for the new Heroic team. That's basically all about the transfers that happened this week, but I've got something really spicy here for you. Niko revealed on his YouTube channel a lot about how esports players earn money and how much they earn. He presented himself as an example. Niko is currently playing for Apex, as you know, and he decided to show his income for the past year. First, Apex pays him $12,500 a month. $13,500 is his share of the prize money for the year. And here comes the juiciest part. He got another $300,000 from stickers, ads on YouTube and Twitch, and various bonuses. As a result, all combined is almost $500,000. This is an average amount, minded, because Apex is from a high-seeded team. They started in the top 50 in the beginning of the year and reached a stable top 20 just recently. Now imagine how much top players in top teams earn. I think between $1 million and $2 million for sure. Yeah, so here you have esports, games for kids, huh? Yeah, we will talk about other interesting interviews a little later, but for now I want to tell about other reshuffles, since some on the pro scene have ended or suspended their careers. For example, Edward, the ex-Na'Vi player. This year he will become a father in real life, so he decided to finish with CS for now. Congratulations to Pistol King. Also, M0NESY suddenly showed up. He took a break a while ago and now decided to return, although in his letter he writes that he's ready to become a coach. But just a few years ago he was the main hope of the Finnish CS pro scene. Another person who is leaving esports is Simple's brother, Alexei Kostelev. After 7 years in Na'Vi, they parted ways. Honestly, I have no idea what are the reasons and generally what he has been doing for the team for the last few years, but doesn't this mean that now Simple in Na'Vi holds nothing at all except a contract? I've read some comments and everyone was writing that the next announcement from Na'Vi would definitely be Simple's departure, so we'll see. And on that note, it's time to talk about the main interviews of the week. For example, Overdrive told what in theory awaits Cloud9 in future.
Возможный вариант развития событий – это Клауда прощаются с Хоббитом после мажора, а по Revision, если X5 не покажет хорошей игры, прощаются с X5 и берут к себе Хоббита.
And you know what? In theory, it's the perfect moment for Simple to return to CS2. As he says, he'll skip the first major, but he can just fly into the second one at maximum speed as part of Cloud9. Overdrive also added that $500,000 were paid for Artfrost, so in fact, Shiro cost Spirit $500,000, and this is generally not a particularly large amount for a tier 1 scene. By the way, what else is there about the new sniper in Cloud9? Boomich gave an interview to Blast, and here are some interesting points. It's a little bit hard to build this new structure because we don't have a main OPer, but we're trying some setups and we're testing new players on the OP on some maps, but we need more time. When I was in Na'Vi, I was the second OP, and when I was playing in 1win, I was OPing too. I think it's not very hard for me, and I like it, but maybe for some players in the team it's hard. Well, and meanwhile, M0NESY continues to bait us with his transfer to Cloud9. He posted photos of how someone brought him stickers of his new team, well, perhaps a new team instead of Juice. The young man is simply a bait genius, although he himself says in an interview that he wants to win a major with Niko. Now this is the #1 goal for him. In general, we are unlikely to see any big changes until the end of the major, especially since open qualifiers will begin in January and closed in mid-January. There is very little time left for preparations, so big changes are definitely not expected. But there's one really big problem of this first CS2 major. There is no anti-cheat, and according to Loba, they won't use it for armor. That is, in online qualifiers where the mid-grinder is going on, we can easily catch some radar, wallhack or aimbot users. Yeah, there's still no working anti-cheat, and moreover, people showed new cheats based on artificial intelligence. That is, they adapt to your playing style and don't insta-shoot to the head, which seems real to the current in-game VAC, but it's still a working cheat, and it's working really great. How can you ban someone like that, especially online? Although, as they say, Valve are cooking something and are also trying to keep up. They're testing anti-cheat based on AI at full speed right now. Even the top 1 player of the Premier mode, where, you know, all are cheaters, was finally banned. And, according to Gabe Follower, a whole wave of bans awaits us soon. If this is exactly what happens, that's gonna be some great news. Guys, don't forget to share your cheater stories in the comments below, because at high ranks, I'm really fed up with them. And finally, let's talk about HLTV's top. This year, I didn't have the time to make my top 20 for you. I planned it for January 1st, or maybe some of the first days of the year, and then HLTV started announcing one by one. Maybe I will make the top 10, we'll see, but for now, let's take a look at what HLTV themselves present. We settled on Twists and his 20th place last time. Next, we have K-Serato. He has a crazy rating of 1.19, but the problem is that Furia didn't win anything at all except one tier 2 cup, and in general their Brazilian dream team didn't justify itself in any way. Many people are really unhappy that K-Serato got here at all because, for example, Electronic and Exile didn't, but for me his stats are really cool, and individually K-Serato deserved his 19th place. Further on, placing 18th, we have Cadian, and this is probably the best news to date. The captain was appreciated, and for the first time in 10 years on the pro stage, he made it to the top of HLTV. Yes, not to say that it's high, but it's even better than James had last year, and he was the Majors MVP for a second. In general, Casper is now at his peak, and let's hope that he will only increase his achievements at Liquid. At 17th, we have Magisk, a decent result considering that in Vitality he played as a support. The Dane himself says that this is a great place for all players in this position. He turns out to be one of the most stable anchors in the world at the moment. Further on, in the 16th place, we have Blamef. In recent years, he has been particularly unlucky because he always ends up in teams that are being rebuilt. So this year he again became the captain, but they shoveled half the squad. Yet, he still managed to get into the 16th place. His stats are a severe 1.20, but he has no victories at all, only 3rd places. Yabi is placed 15th, and of course he's much behind Blamef in terms of rating, 1.10 versus 1.20. However, he has victories, he has an MVP and EVPs. HLTV themselves write that they put him at 15th because of the crazy start to the year where he had excellent numbers. Well, we would put him a little lower for his bad deeds, let's say. Next is Nerds, and he's 14th place. He burst onto the pro scene and tier 1 scene and simply conquered everyone and everything. Back in January of this year, almost no one knew about him, but now he's a real star. It's a pity that ANS fell apart and he's unlikely to be able to shine as well in the near future, but he's already made a name for himself. Maybe after the major he'll end up somewhere in Vitality, FaZe or G2 for example. Well, the last known place for today is Hunter, or as I call him, Mr. Stability. 13th in 2020, 12th in 2021, 14th in 2022, and now 13th again. How was the meme again? It ain't much, but it's honest work. No top 5s for him, but how you can do that when you have both M0NESY and Niko on your team? Hunter continues to be extremely stable and even managed to grab one MVP at IEM Katowice. Guys, don't forget to predict your top 10 in the comments below. Let's try to race who's better in predicting. Anyways, friends, that's all for today. We try to provide you with the best CS2 news. So far, since it's the off-season and holidays, nothing really is happening. Everyone is relaxing and celebrating the new year. But as soon as there is something to discuss, I will tell you everything right away. Happy New Year and holidays, everyone! Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the all CS2 news. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.